What's good, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy once again back with another NFL wrap-up, a special edition of the NFL wrap-up, that is. I have a special guest. I will introduce him in a minute. But all I have to say is, as far as NFL weeks goes, this was a little bit chaotic. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. And I'm going to get into why a little later. And mind you, and a quick disclaimer, myself and my guest actually went to one of these games today, and we will get to that a little later, but we actually went to a game today, so most of what we have seen are just highlights and things we've seen, plus some sort of trends we've also seen in a lot of these games with some of these players in terms of things like turnovers and scoring. But anyways, let's go ahead and get started. Out in LA, the Chargers take an L to a Steelers team that, quite frankly, has been utter trash this year. They've lost their starting quarterback in Ben Roethlisberger. They lost their top rookie quarterback in Mason Rudolph. And tonight was a bit of a bounce-back game for them, in a sense. And in a way, it speaks a lot more about how the Chargers are pretty bad, because not only did they give the Broncos their first win, they have given the Steelers their second win on the season. And you know what? As much as I want to break this down, I want to go ahead and introduce my guest. My guest, he goes by the name of Mr. Benji. I call him Mr. Benji anyways. But he was actually watching all these games with me. He knows football just like I know football, and honestly, I want your opinion on this. Why, what happened here with the Steelers and the Chargers?
The Steelers and the Chargers. First of all, nice to meet you. Great for having me here.
Happy to be here.
And nice to meet you all, guests and everything. So, Steelers, Chargers, man. You know, the Chargers always find a way to choke away a game, don't you think?
I agree with that.
Like, they always find a way. When they need to win a game they expect or are expected to win, it never works out for them. And this game was a skull drag in the first half. What was it, 21-0 at the first half?
It was.
The end of the first half, man. And, come on. The Steelers had a third-string quarterback with a nickname Duck. Come on, bro. What the fuck?
The man went undrafted. He went undrafted. And Benji, to really break down how much trash this guy is, not only is he undrafted, he came from a school that I don't think maybe 4 or 5 people know about.
Well, I know about it. But the only reason why I know about it is because the school is a couple hours from where I live.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair to say.
Shout out to that small Christian school, Samford University.
Shout out to him.
But for real though, Chargers, y'all lost a game to a third-string quarterback nicknamed Duck. Get your shit together. Come on.
It's true. You lost. I mean, honestly, this is as bad as it gets. Not only did the Chargers give Joe Flacco his first win of the season, you also give the Steelers some life after the Ravens undeservedly took it from them just a week ago.
Also, shout out to the Steelers fans, because man, that was a heavy go defense chant on the Chargers' first drive, bro.
You know what?
We were talking about earlier today. We were watching the game, and I was like, man, why? Well, first of all, here's the big question here, y'all. And y'all can answer in the comment section below for the video. How is it, or why, do the Rams get to play the LA Coliseum, but not the Chargers? They both going to be sharing a stadium in a year, but I don't understand. The Chargers is getting disrespected. Fuck Spanos.
There are some, you know what, oh, shit. Oh, man. You know what? There are some people from Cali that are going to be listening to this. Most of them are Oakland people. But what I can tell you is the Chargers have been treated like essentially that one orphan you see at, the showcase at the foster homes that no parent ever wants. That's how they've been treated. They have been put in a soccer stadium that seats, I think, maybe, 10,000-20,000 people at the most. Yeah. And on top of that, nobody from their own home team is there. It's mostly, people that are away, like the Steelers fans that took over tonight. Just Steelers fans that wanted a trip to L.A. That's essentially what they're treated like. They're a tourist team,
Bruh.
and they're getting skull dragged like one. And from there, we go to across the pond to London. Shout out to those in the UK, by the way, listening to this. The Panthers, with a rookie quarterback, beat up on Jameis Winston and the trash Buccaneers, 37-26. This is as bad as it gets for Jameis, because as much of a good effort as he put up, oh my goodness. I mean, think about it, folks. 6 turnovers, 5 interceptions, including a fumble loss. Most QB turnovers in a game this season, folks. 6 turnovers. He fumbled the ball, and then he threw 5 interceptions. Benji, how do you explain that? How do you explain that? Can you tell Jay how that happens? Tell me how that happens, please, because, I mean, the guy was a promising pick out of Florida State, and he had, even though he was an idiot with stealing crab legs and standing on top of a lunchroom saying, grab him by the pussy, all that stupid shit. He still had enough talent to get by in the league. What happened?
All right,
what happened?
I mean, Jameis Winston, I feel like the biggest story with him is that he's a boomer bust quarterback. And I don't just mean that, he's either going to lead the Bucs to the playoffs, which he hasn't, or not. I mean, boomer bust, every single fucking play is a boomer bust.
Right.
He's trying to get the big play. He's trying to make a play every single time.
Right.
And sometimes that ends up with him, more times than not, it ends up with him forcing the ball in the coverage and throwing picks all day, baking them up for everybody.
Right.
And, man, I feel for Bucs fans sometimes. And also because, in general, people will either say, with Jameis, either he had a great game and the Bucs played great and he's going to lead them somewhere.
Right.
Or he'll throw 5 picks like he did today. And
true.
And surprisingly, they'll only lose by 10 points or 11 points or whatever it was. But, man, Jameis, bro.
You know what? We were talking about it earlier. If the Buccaneers don't make the playoffs, I think this is the last time we see Jameis in Tampa.
And also some quick praise, though, to Christian McCaffrey, man.
Yes.
That man is carrying the Panthers on his back.
Somebody please give Cam Newton a box of tissues, because I know he's happy on the outside, but on the inside, he's drying off the tears with whatever tablecloth or curtain he decided to wear as an outfit that day. So from there we go to Cleveland. And folks, you know me when it comes to Cleveland. I have been waiting for this for a long time. I have heard the hype. I've seen the moves they have made. I saw everything. I saw people say that this team was going to go to the Super Bowl, even go to the playoffs, and cause issues. Legit issues. Folks, you are not going to be a problem for anybody. If you only put up 20 points in the first half, you got a lead, you finally get control, and you only put up all of 8 points in the second half, and you give up 14. I'm sorry, but you are not elite if you do this. Russell Wilson came back, led the charge. The man doesn't have the Legion of Boom anymore. He doesn't have that defense to lean on anymore. All he has to lean on these days is Sierra. That's all he's got.
Yo, but
that's all he's got.
That's hell of a booty to lean on, though.
It is. It definitely is. It is. But to be honest, that's all the man has to lean on. But they are starting to build that offense a little bit. They've given him DK Metcalf. They've given him some good weapons. And Russell Wilson, with what little he has been able to excel. And once again, proves that ability at the expense of the hype that the Browns have. Why do the Browns have so much hype, number one? And number two, being 2-4, I mean, with all the hype, I'm sorry, but I think this is the game that officially announces that the Browns have crashed and burned. I didn't have faith in them day one. In a game, and after seeing this and seeing that Baker turn the ball over at the end of the game, I don't have faith in him.
I mean, Baker.
I'm not sold.
Baker Mayfield is he's he's on that train of being a Jameis Winston and being that boomer bust. I'm going for the big play, or I'm going to throw a pick, man. He's on that train, being the Baker. You know what I'm saying? But the biggest thing, can we talk about Russell Wilson for a second and just how this man, MVP candidate for sure. You know, him and his stupid ass little catchphrase, unlimited. Have you seen them videos? Bro, that's just stupid as hell. And he sounds so white when he's saying it too. He's like, unlimited. I'm just like, bro, shut the hell up. Be happy that you have Sierra. But I'm not gonna lie, my man's balling out. We're gonna talk a little bit more about the Seahawks a little bit later, but yeah, that man's balling out. But the Browns, yo, the hype was real, not gonna lie. They had me buying in for a little bit. It's like, I'm not gonna lie, they had me buying in. But nah, man, the Browns, they're not gonna get it. Nah.
I
what
agree
are they,
with
2-4 now? 2-4. I think they got a tough schedule coming up a little bit. They got some things. It's let's just be real. Freddie Kitchens can't coach. Like that's just simply what it is. Freddie Kitchens can't do it. I don't know who the offensive coordinator is out. Or was it? Is Steve Wilkes the defensive coordinator or whatever bullshit?
Yep, he calling the defense out there.
# one and done with the Arizona Cardinals, bro. But man. I don't, man, no wonder Odell wants out, or they're trying to trade Odell, bro. Or put it this way, they're trying to blame the problems on Odell, but the news that comes out is like that OBJ is being the model teammate. He's doing exactly what he needs to do, so they're just looking for a scapegoat, which just goes to show of how shitty of an organization Cleveland is.
It is, man. At the end of the day, this is a fine example of it doesn't matter how many pieces you find, how much talent you are able to bring in. If you have the same management and the same ownership that wants to do the same old shit all the time and treat this team the same old way without really taking that extra step, you will always be at the bottom.
Yeah. And I think, one thing that goes just underrated in the NFL is how important coaching is,
Right.
Because, like, even though, granted, there's some other issues in there, and even though I hate them, you got to put some respect on the name to the Patriots and what Bill Belichick can do. Because the Patriots, for at least this decade, have never really had, like, strong teams.
It's true.
Yet they're always at the top of the AFC. They're always in the contention to be representing the AFC in the Super Bowl. I mean, they're still a hot team this year. And they got nobody, and Tom Brady playing like he's 40, whatever he is, But they're still a top team because they're so well coached, and that's the difference between like a team that's really going to take you there versus a team like the Browns that have all the talent they need, but the coaching's just not there. Could you imagine if
they had
if the Patriots had the talent that the Browns did right now, they'd be going 16-0 like 07, except they'll lose in the Super Bowl just like in 07. But
absolutely,
they have all the talent they need.
I will say this: great. Like if Greg Williams was coaching the Browns, I believe that record would be like probably 6-0 right now, or at least 5-1. They're definitely trending in the wrong direction. And speaking of teams trending in the wrong direction, damn. The Chiefs have just lost their second straight game at home. And this time
that game was
to the
at
Texans.
Home, wasn't it?
Yep, it was an Arrowhead.
Damn.
Second straight loss at home.
Yeah.
Pat Mahomes struggled. I mean, he had a good game. He did all right. Him and Tyreek Hill did all right. But that defense didn't really do him any favors whatsoever because the Texans were just able to charge right through them at all costs. Tell me what you think about this, because this was pretty much game of the day right here.
Well, Chiefs fans are gonna blame the loss. Oh, Patty Mahomes, he got a little bruised up ankle. That's what they go and blame it on because I mean the Texans, even without Jadeveon Clowney, they still got a pass rush, so they're still getting after him,
right,
and getting in the backfield and. They're gonna say, "Oh, Patty Mahomes, with this little bruise on his ankle, he couldn't run away from the pressure. He couldn't get enough power behind his throws." And I mean, there may be a little bit of truth to that, but still, at the end of the day, I mean, if you're the Chiefs, bro, if Patty Mahomes can't escape the pressure, then that just means that your offensive line needs some work. Now, granted, I know they had some injuries there too, but
Right.
Put it this way: the Chiefs are looking vulnerable.
They are.
They're looking quite vulnerable. I mean, yeah, they've lost 2 in a row, and I mean, even you look back to that Ravens game, and it ended up being close in the end. So it's been a few weeks now that the Chiefs have been looking, and then even like they lost last week, they lost this week, and then the 2 games before those losses, they were looking pretty vulnerable against the Ravens and the Lions.
Right.
The fucking Lions. Like, what the hell? But but yeah, they're looking pretty vulnerable right now, and we'll see how they can. How they'll perform the rest of the season. They got Tyreek back this week.
They did,
but that still wasn't enough. So
crazy enough, man. I think they're coming up on a bye. No, they're coming up with somebody else. I think
they need some help on the defensive side.
They do. They do. And folks, you want to talk about teams that need help the most. Today we witnessed Tank Bowl 2019. The battle of teams that are the worst of the worst, like complete garbage. This is garbage meeting trash, meeting a car crash. Taking place in Miami. The Redskins somehow beat the Dolphins 17-16, and I mean when you see the ending to this game, like you just see the catch, and then you see the Dolphins the guy fumble the ball at the 2-yard line. Like it has the epitome of 2 teams that are just terrible. Nobody wanted to win this game.
Yeah, that junk was disgusting, bro.
The epitome of ugly football.
Redskins Dolphins was disgusting, and actually disgusting, not like cool disgusting, like.
And the only
like make me want to throw up disgusting. Like, God damn.
Oh man, and the only prize here is that Miami is going to get the number 1 overall pick that they're going to spend on a quarterback, despite the fact that they already have a quarterback named Josh Rosen. But I guess no one gives a shit about Josh Rosen in the NFL.
Oh yeah.
I think that's pretty much like the statement.
Yeah. So
Arizona started it, and Miami's continuing the trend.
Yeah. So before we really get into this game, let's talk about Josh Rosen for a second, because Josh Rosen, this man is the most unlucky, most disrespected player, I think, in the league right now.
Oh, absolutely.
This man got drafted to an Arizona team, had a first-year coach, Steve Wilkes or whatever, and, like, he had no time. I mean, granted, he was holding on to the ball quite a bit sometimes, but
yes, he was.
He was just on a shit team. And then he goes from one shit team to a shittier team in Miami, who's like, oh, maybe he might be our guy, but nah, psych, he's not really our guy. So we're going to go out and get the beer. We're going to get that Fitz magic. And then to make it worse, like even today, in today's game, they end up subbing out
Josh Rosen
for Fitz magic in the third quarter, I think.
Disgraceful.
But like,
not the only QB benching we're going to get to, by the way.
But the thing is about that is just like, if Rosen's not your guy, if you're not going to put it on him next year, here's the big question: is Josh Rosen going to be in a Miami Dolphins uniform next year?
Hell no, they're going to get rid of him. I think they're going to get rid of him.
And
it's stupid because they shouldn't do it, but they will.
Yeah, I mean they shouldn't, but it might happen. And you know what? And I'll just leave the argument at this. You can answer in the comments below. But if Josh Rosen's not on the Dolphins, what team is he going to play on next year? I'll let you guys discuss that in the comments so we can move on to some other things. But yeah, let us know in the comments. Where's Josh Rosen going to play next year if he's not in a Dolphins uniform?
Absolutely.
Other than that, speaking of other young quarterbacks, Redskins, Dwayne Haskins didn't play today. Might this been a great opportunity to throw out your rookie quarterback just to see what he can do?
You know what? This is the game for it because you have nothing to lose, considering the fact that you already know you're not going to the playoffs, you're not going to the Super Bowl, you're not doing shit this year. Like it's over. It is over. The pipe dream is already done. So at this point, why not throw the rookie in there? Because you have nothing to lose.
Right.
But the Redskins, considering the Redskins just fired their head coach too, it's not a bad idea.
Yeah, and I mean I think that's all. We call this the Tank Bowl. And then the object of the Tank Bowl is to lose, and I feel like because the Redskins won, since they
Right.
did just get their young quarterback, Dwayne Haskins, in the draft, I feel like it's okay for them to win this game because they don't need a Tua as badly as maybe Miami does. Anyway, I'm done with the Tank Bowl. Let's move on to another one.
Oh yeah.
Let's move on to a more competitive game that's actually going to mean something in 2019.
Yeah, even though it's weird because in this one the Vikings beat up on the Eagles. They actually were beating the shit out of them, and then the Eagles were trying to make a game out of it. Kirk Cousins finally started showing something. He threw 4 touchdown passes after both of his receivers threw him under the bus, and he acted like a beta and decided to apologize. But nonetheless, it worked because they won, and he threw 4 touchdown passes.
Yeah.
The Eagles have dropped to 3-3. That division had a very bad day today. I mean, the fact that the Redskins was the only team that won. The Giants lost Thursday night. The Eagles got kicked in the teeth. And we're going to get to what happened to the Cowboys because that is certainly something I have a lot of questions about. But nonetheless, folks, Vikings move on 4-2.
The Redskins were the only team to win.
Diggs caught 3 out of the 4 TD passes.
Shout out to my man Stephon Diggs. Way to come up, bro. That man's been struggling to start the year, trying to get traded, hates everything about playing in Minnesota, and now he's coming out and he's playing, and he balls out today.
Absolutely.
When they needed him to. And Kirk Cousins, getting him the football in a game that he needed to,
Yeah, definitely after he got cursed the fuck out, he certainly started throwing touchdown passes.
Because I'm just going to say, I don't care what anybody says. I don't care how he played today. Kirk Cousins is still trash.
Yeah. That's the problem. That's the
Just-
problem with the
just
whole
say it.
thing. It was good today, but it's not going to last all season, Vikings fans. I'm sorry to say it.
Yeah.
Anyways, we move on to Jacksonville, where that mustached piece of shit, Gardner Minshew, got kicked in the teeth by the Saints defense today, and
Somebody drinking that haterade. Anyway,
you kidding me? I'm not drinking that Kool-Aid. I'll tell you that. There's a lot of people were drinking the mustache Kool-Aid for a little bit, and I was not buying into it. I thought the guy was overhyped. They said, "Oh, he's a 6th-round pick, just like Tom Brady." At that point, I said, "Okay."
So is fucking Trace McSorley, and he's our 3rd-string quarterback.
Exactly. And I'm going to get to that in a moment too, and that says everything. It really says everything about Minshew. And today they got exposed. They're now dropping to 2-4. They miss Nick Foles. They're not going to say it out loud, but they miss Nick Foles. The Saints do not miss Drew Brees though, because Teddy Bridgewater is a good game manager, and that defense is so good that he doesn't have to do too much. And when you have a quarterback that doesn't have to do too much, good things are going to happen. And even though they won in an ugly fashion, close fashion, still that's a good one to have. Any comment on this?
Yeah, man. Saints defense has been balling out for a few weeks now in a row.
Mm.
They've been taking care of business. Teddy Bridgewater's just not fucking up.
Right.
Which is all they need him to do until Drew Brees comes back. Just don't fuck up. As far as Gardner Minshew and everything on the Jaguar side, I think the big question here,
Right.
do you think Gardner's going to be... Do you think the Jaguars are going to trust him to be their starter for next year?
No. If Nick Foles is healthy, no.
You don't think they're going to buy into him?
If he plays like he did today, no, they're not gonna buy into him.
They don't want to sell any more mustaches?
I'll tell you
You
what.
heard about that shit? Them selling them fake mustaches, bro.
Hey, look, if they want to sell some mustaches, how about they make one out of the one that Shad Khan has on his face?
Okay, yeah, you're right.
I'm about to say that man has the Yosemite Sam, and he's not making money off of that. Come on now.
Shad Khan's got a pretty legendary mustache.
Exactly. You don't need a quarterback with a mustache to
Not
sell it.
gonna
Just
lie.
model one after yours.
Alright. Next game.
Well, next game is the Ravens, but we're saving that for last because we have a lot to say about that. Skipping over that, though, coming back to it, we have the 4 o'clock game, first 4 o'clock game, 49ers and the Rams. The 49ers, once again, come away with a win. They're 5-0. They beat the Rams 20-7, a very good Rams opponent, now dropping to 3-3. I have to be honest. I'm very surprised. Even though Garoppolo has no touchdown passes and a pick, they still did enough, especially on the defense side of the ball, to the 49ers, to make this a game that they could control. And it's impressive, even though it's an ugly, ugly win. I mean, hey, they turned the ball over how many times against the Steelers and still won? What, 4 or 5 times?
Yeah.
This team knows how to win ugly. I think is probably the way to really describe the 49ers right now. The the Rams need to regroup because this is not a good look. This is the game where they were supposed to kick them in the teeth and make a big statement, but they fell flat and Jared Goff looks like trash. What do you have to say about this game?
Well, number one, I'm just gonna say that. Would you agree, or at least for me, this was the most surprising result of the week.
I would say,
I know what you're maybe thinking about, but like,
I'm gonna get to that.
But yeah, we'll get to that later. But for me, this was the surprise result of the week.
Interesting, okay.
Because I think the Niners, coming in, I wasn't really sure if their undefeated record was for real.
Mm-hmm. That
they were for real. I thought, coming when it comes to contender versus pretender, I thought they were kind of pretending, and I feel like this is kind of that statement win that kind of says, nah, they're kind of for real.
Right.
Granted, the Rams were playing without Todd Gurley today, but I mean, it's not like Todd Gurley's been balling out so far this year anyway.
True.
He's been okay. He hasn't been great, but he hasn't been bad either. He's just been okay. But I feel like today, this was the statement win for the Niners, where like I think it's time to start taking them seriously, moving ahead for the rest of the season. Because not only did they win this game by 2 possessions, but they won this game on the road.
They did.
This game was in L.A. And it's a huge game as far as the Rams for their playoff hopes, because they're now 3-3.
Yep.
3rd place in the division, because the Seahawks only got 1 loss, I think, this year.
Insane.
And the Niners are still undefeated. So, yeah, to me, this is the surprise result, because the Rams really needed this game. Not just because it's a division game, not just because it's at home, but they really needed this game for just playoff hopes in general. So, yeah, this is the surprise result of the week for me.
Interesting. That is an interesting perspective, and the 49ers are going to be a team to watch. I'm certainly going to pay attention now, especially after this. And folks, I mean, you heard it on my shout out during my MMA show when I shouted out the University of Georgia for choking that game against South Carolina. You want to talk about a team that choked? Let's talk about the other team in Georgia, the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons lose to the Arizona Cardinals 34-33 in a close game, but once again, a Georgia sports team coming up short. But I can't speak on it. I would rather you speak on this, because, I mean, hey, we've seen our share of Atlanta choke jobs and whatnot, especially the Super Bowl. But I mean, this kind of takes the cake, doesn't it? Or is this just business as usual for teams like this?
I mean, okay, so for those at home, I do reign from the Georgia area, right? I don't cheer for any Georgia teams. I'm a Baltimore fan through and through. Yeah, another fantastic weekend for Atlanta sports fans or Georgia sports fans. You got the Braves choking in the National League divisional series, giving up 10 runs in the first inning. What the fuck?
In the first inning. People didn't even get in their seats before the game was over.
I'm going to tell you, bro, man, I wasn't at the game, but, just around town in Atlanta, bro, after that, Braves lost in Game 5 at home, giving up 10 runs in the first inning, bro. I just walk around town, bro, and I'm just like, damn, it smells like bitch in here, because it really do. like in Atlanta, when it comes to sports, bro, it actually smells like bitch up in that town, dude.
Goodness.
So the Braves choking, then you got fucking UGA,
right,
which is the actual bigger sports team in Georgia. Them going down to South Carolina, fucking unranked South Carolina, bro.
Jeez.
Yo. Atlanta sucks. Okay, anyway, so back to the NFL, and then we got, just to put the cherry on top, The cherry on top of Atlanta sports this weekend is the Falcons losing because of a missed extra fucking point.
A missed extra point.
That's so fucking funny, bro.
The man shanked the field goal wide. What was it, left?
Wide left, bro.
Oh.
Shades of Atlanta versus Minnesota.
Yes, I remember that.
Back in that NFC Championship game in the 90s, bro.
Shanked it.
Even though Atlanta actually came out on top in that case. Atlanta won that game. But then they ended up getting their asses beat in the Super Bowl. But still though, like, man, to put the cherry on top of a fantastic sports weekend in Atlanta, a missed extra point. And to the fucking Cardinals. Like, what the hell? But, man, can we just talk about, man, in Atlanta, how shit's going to go down over there? People are calling for Dan Quinn's head. That man said, oh, he came to the season. Dan Quinn, head coach of the Falcons, came into the season and said, oh, I'm going to take control of this defense because our defense is shit.
Right.
And we're going to do better this year. And then, like, their defense has been absolute trash. Which means that there's nobody else for him to blame it on. There's no scapegoat. The defense, just plain and simple, sucks.
Right.
Add on to the fact that they have no offensive line. Matt Ryan getting beat back there like a rag doll, bro. Like, it's bad. It's bad over there, man. They need some changes.
You ain't lying, man. And speaking of teams that are going through some changes right now, the Titans went to Denver to take on Joe Flacco and the Broncos. And while this
elite Joe Flacco,
yes, the alleged elite Joe Flacco, and while this wasn't the surprise of the weekend for me, I did not expect for the Titans to just get kicked in the teeth and skull dragged like this. It wasn't a complete skull dragging, but just like looking at the play, it's terrible. Marcus Mariota turned over the ball so much that his own coach said, "You know what? I'm done with you." Benched him. Marcus Mariota gets benched for Ryan Tannehill, the bum leftover quarterback from the Miami Dolphins. And he goes out there and he lays an egg. And Joe Flacco proceeds to look like an elite game manager for one game. Honestly, it makes me sick to even think about it. They are 2-4, both teams are, but both teams are still garbage. Is there anything you would like to say about this?
Yo, can we talk about, I think, what was the stats? Marcus Mariota, when he got benched in the third quarter, he had a passer rating of fucking 9.5.
Oh.
9.5, my dude. Like, you gotta be one pitiful ass motherfucker to have a quarterback rating of 9.5 with the hard T, 9.5. Come on, man. Bro. Why? Like, I feel bad for Tennessee fans because of how up and down this dude be playing, bro, and just how he just ain't it.
Yeah, Mike Vrabel just took one look at this guy and said, "You know what? I'm gonna give him some time because that's what ownership wants. But deep down, as soon as I'm fed up with him, I'm done. I'm putting it in my own hands." And that's what he did today.
And it's not even like the Titans' defense is playing bad, you know?
Right.
The elite Joe Flacco today, he only threw for 177 yards and didn't even throw a touchdown pass today.
The man threw a pick.
And you know what?
He threw an interception.
My elite check down Joe Flacco looking face ass, bro, completed, what is it, like 10 passes to his running backs today? So he was on that elite train today, passing to the running backs.
Yeah, an elite check down artist.
Classic Joe Flacco. Classic. This man was playing excellent football today.
Yeah.
And only got them 16 points on the board, but he got that dub, though.
Damn right.
He got that dub.
And, folks, speaking of teams that literally got the dub, this to me, is the surprise of the weekend. Now, Cowboys fans, I'm going to need you to kind of explain this to me. I know that we can explain, but I'm going to need you to explain this. Explain to me how you lose to a team that was 0-4 coming into this. They had no hope of winning any sort of game this year. Even if they got Sam Darnold back, the team around him was so bad that they really had no chance against anyone elite. And yet, the Cowboys come to town. And you kick them in the teeth. But Cowboys fans, how do you allow that to happen? How do you go into somebody else's house and allow them to kick you in the teeth when you are infamous for going to their house to doing it? So, really, how about the Cowboys? And listen, I know some people are going to cry robbery on that 2-point conversion. It looked a little sketchy to me, but all I'm going to say is this. Even though I probably agree with you that you got robbed, why did you end up in that situation in the first place? Why weren't you up by 50 points by the fourth quarter? It honestly blows my mind. Is there anything you can even kind of decipher from this? Because I don't get it. I really don't get it.
I'll break it down for you.
Okay.
And Cowboys fans, come at me. The Cowboys are trash.
Oh boy.
I know. I just threw a pipe bomb out there. But here's the thing, y'all. The Cowboys, everybody was on their dick because they got 3 wins to start the season, right?
Yeah.
Against what competition? Against who? Who did they beat? Do you remember?
I have no clue.
Who did they beat? They beat the fucking Giants, my nigga. They beat the Giants, bro.
Uh-huh.
Who else did they beat? You remember?
Beat the Giants. Did they play the Redskins at all?
I think so.
If they play the Redskins...
Well, let me fact check this real quick.
Yeah.
I'm going to pull it up here in a second. As I'm pulling this up, I just want to say, the Cowboys, bro, ever since they started playing real competition... Right. They showed that they weren't as for real as people thought they were.
It's true.
And that's why, I was saying earlier how, the Niners win was, my surprise of the week, but this one not so much. Right. That's why this wasn't very surprising to me that they lost, that they laid an egg, because they're coming off of a couple straight losses, and they haven't been looking so strong. The Jets got Sam Darnold back today, which I think makes a big difference for them.
It does.
So we actually got to see what this Jets team is supposed to look like today.
That is true.
I'm not saying that the Jets are good or anything, because I still think the Jets are trash too.
Right.
But I think that we got to see more of what the Jets team is supposed to be, or at least its potential anyway. Right. Because Adam Gase, they'll never actually reach their potential, but they're at least serviceable. Okay. They'll probably still finish 5-11, but serviceable. And this is a game at home where the Cowboys laid an egg. Jets defense got after them, and that ending sequence at the end of the game was utter trash.
It was.
What was it? On that last final drive? There was 5 plays in a row where there were flags.
The referees today were letting flags fly, and it wasn't even just in this game. But I noticed on that last drive, they tried to help the Cowboys out. And look, I get it. If the calls are going your way, I have no problem with it. Calls go your way. That if it went my way, I'd have no problem with it.
Oh yeah, by the way, so here's
they still try to gift it to you.
So here's my fact check. The Cowboys' 3 wins this season were against the Giants, the Redskins, and the Dolphins.
Oh God!
Teams that have a combined 3 wins this season. These 3 teams have a combined 3 wins.
And only one of them...
2 from the Giants, 1 from the Redskins.
Right, I was just about to say, one of them hasn't even won a game.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Boy.
Yes. And meanwhile, since then, they took an L to a Saints team that didn't have Drew Brees. Mm-hmm. They took a huge L to Aaron Rodgers' Packers at home.
Wow.
And then they lost today. So, again, Cowboys, you're facing some real competition. Now you're really getting your test, and you're showing that you're not as good as maybe you thought you were at the beginning of the season. Maybe not as good as those Super Bowl hypes that a lot of the people were trying to give you. America's team. But I'll tell you this: you guys got Philly next week. That should be a good game. That'll be a get right game for you guys.
Yeah, I was about to say they could beat Philly.
Because
they could beat Philly.
That'll be a gut check, get right game.
Absolutely.
To see who's gonna win that division. Because we all know that division is gonna be Eagles or Cowboys.
It's true.
But then y'all get the Giants again. That should be another easy win.
Right.
Hopefully for y'all. But then the schedule starts to get a little bit tough again with the Vikings and Patriots coming up a little bit later. But Cowboys, y'all, it's time for y'all to prove whether you deserve to actually even be a playoff team right now.
I agree with that.
Like, slow your roll on that whole Super Bowl thing in the first 3 weeks just because you were playing teams that are going to be picking in the top 5 of the draft.
Exactly.
Well, if you want to be a playoff team, you got to start looking at what you're going to do against actual teams that are worth something.
It will be interesting to see where the Cowboys go from here. And as far as the Jets, let's not hold out any hope.
Yeah.
By the way, just quickly glancing over the Thursday night game, I mean, this was not anything out of the ordinary here. Just another trash Giants team being skull-dragged by a better Patriots team.
But you know what? Was it really a trash Giants team? Because this game was close for 3 quarters. The Patriots were only up by a touchdown at the end of 3. It was only 21-14.
Right.
And then the Giants, Daniel Jones started to make their mistakes, but the Giants, for at least 36 minutes, weren't that bad. They stayed in it, but, I mean, the Patriots, though looking a little bit vulnerable, are still, in my opinion, the favorite in the AFC.
Right. And with
but speaking of competition, they're about to have some stiffer competition coming up. So we'll see if that still holds true.
Definitely will. And folks, we have saved this game for last, the Ravens and the Bengals, because him and I actually went to this game today. And while this was while it was a close victory on paper, to be honest, it wasn't. Granted, that opening kickoff took all the energy out of the building.
We spotted them boys 7 points.
We did. We spotted them 7 points.
Cincinnati.
With an opening kickoff return for a touchdown. It took the energy out of the building. It was a nice attempt. And then, of course, the Ravens went right back down and scored, made it even game. And from there, they took over. Lamar Jackson had a historic day. Him and Justin Tucker did. Lamar Jackson not only passed for 236 yards, he ran for 152 yards and scored a touchdown. That's insane.
His first rushing touchdown of the year.
Exactly, his first rushing TD of the year. And like the guy, again, this is college stuff. You throw for over 200, you run for over 100 in a game. That's college level right there. And quite frankly, this was just Ravens all from beginning to end. You see the scores, other than maybe a touchdown, like 2 touchdowns, that essentially, other than a touchdown and a field goal, that the Bengals were gifted, this was just all Ravens right here.
It's funny that you mentioned college, because, I mean, the Bengals this season have been playing like a college team, so the Ravens just came out and treated them like a college team today.
They did.
Like, for real, like they just came and we just said, we're just gonna run this down your throat with all this RPO and all this bullshit. But yeah, like some insight on the game. He was talking about how that opening kickoff took the air out of stadium, just to give those that weren't at the stadium kind of a viewpoint. So today, at M&T Bank in Baltimore, the legend of the day, if you will, was Anquan Boldin, legendary Ravens receiver who was on the Super Bowl team a few years ago.
The main reason we had our second Super Bowl in 20 years, and the main reason why people asked if Joe Flacco's elite. But anyways.
Yeah, I was about to say literally the reason why
he made Flacco's career.
Yeah. Legit, though, with all those contested catches.
It's true. But anyways, as you were saying.
But, so yeah, he was there at the beginning of the game, and he was holding the shield, the Baltimore Ravens shield, and they were announcing him as the legend of the day, and he was talking about how he has decided that he's going to retire as a Raven rather than any of the other 20 teams that he played for in his NFL career.
Right.
So that got a big pop from the crowd. And then literally this man hadn't even walked off the field yet. And the Bengals are running back at touchdown. And everyone's like, whoa, what the fuck? You know, and like what made it worse is that on the scoreboard, when you go to a game sometimes they'll have like some miscellaneous facts or bullshit. And they were talking about, the Ravens have the best kickoff coverage team in the NFL. And then they fucking give up a touchdown on the opening kickoff.
What a
and I'm
joke.
Just like, y'all jinx this shit.
They did.
Y'all some bitches.
They
Y'all
did,
made the scoreboard. Come on now.
Oh,
Come on now.
jinxed us with the opening kickoff, and thank goodness the Bengals are garbage. Thank goodness they didn't have A.J. Green. They didn't have John Ross. They didn't have all the main weapons they had due to injury. All they had is Andy Dalton's fucking ginger-looking face. And they had Joe Mixon. And really they had nobody on offense that could do anything other than those two. And the guy that ran back the opening kickoff.
But yeah, so other than that, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
and also fuck those fuck the referee crew that was working this game, because they tried to give Cincinnati that game. That's the reason why the score is as close as it is. It should have been like maybe 23-7, because the opening kickoff. Okay, we'll give you that. But every other score you got after that, you didn't deserve it. Didn't deserve the field goal. Didn't deserve the touchdown. And quite frankly, that referee crew is a pile of shit.
Yeah,
and they refereed like shit today.
Yeah, well, we were talking about how had the coverage team kept up with expectations. If not for that one fumble that we'll talk about in a second.
Oh,
and basically the refs giving the Bengals first down after first down in garbage time, the Bengals wouldn't have had any points in this game. And that's what we mean by the scoreboard doesn't really tell you the story, because the Bengals offense, other than that garbage time touchdown, never even got close to getting in the Ravens territory all game long. And on that last drive, basically, there were these stupid penalties. There was one big roughing the passer that was questionable. There was another couple pass interference flags. One of them they took back. One of them they kept. That kept the Bengals' drive alive and gave them first downs in garbage time. That ultimately led to the Bengals getting into the end zone. But other than those penalties, the Bengals weren't about to score. And then let's talk about this fumble. So this fumble at the end of the first half. All right, so for those at home that maybe don't watch Ravens games, so for whatever stupid reason, the Ravens, who like to think that they have the best quote-unquote tight end group in the NFL with Mark Andrews, Hayden Hurst, and Nick Boyle.
right.
For whatever reason, they have this stupid obsession with hurdling.
Yeah.
These 6'4", 250-pound dudes, they just want to hurdle everyone because they just want to flex, right?
Right.
And today, Mark Andrews, when the Ravens are running the 2-minute drill, they're around midfield. They're driving down, and Mark Andrews goes for a hurdle, and his fucking back knee knocks the ball out of his own hand straight up into the air, and the Bengals recover and end up getting a field goal before the half. But yeah, so stupid, these hurdles. But that cost us some points. The Bengals got some points. It also sucked too because it nullified an interception from Marlon Humphrey, the Ravens cornerback, who, man, put that dude in the Pro Bowl. He was balling out today. He almost had a sack today. He had a QB hit there, a couple QB hits today. He had that pick in the second quarter and was just all around playing good defense today. But yeah, these tight ends, he's hurdling, bro.
Yeah, it's a lot like a center in basketball who, instead of trying to go for a dunk or a layup in the paint, decides to run outside and shoot a three-pointer like he's Kevin Durant. The guy is too big to hurdle people. He should have just ran through the defensive back because he's way bigger than the guy. Trying to jump him is just an ego trip that went wrong. He fumbled it, and as a result, it almost cost us the whole game, actually, at one point. It was going to give him a big comeback, but nonetheless, other than just stupid shit and sloppy shit, we had a pretty good game. And as far as what's happening next, I mean, it's not going to get any easier. The Bengals you don't have to worry about because the Bengals are garbage. I mean, the people that even came to this game, they showed up for a team that hasn't won a game all year. And done nothing.
Right.
They've done virtually nothing. So you want to talk about teams that are going nowhere? Don't worry about the Bengals. They ain't doing shit. As far as the Ravens goes, we have the Seattle Seahawks next, and think about this, folks. Not only do we have the Seahawks next, we have a bye week, and then straight out of the bye week, we have the Patriots. I mean, my goodness, it's not gonna get any better for anybody.
It gets really tough coming up. Yeah,
it is going to be tough. I am going to preview that during the week, though. But I would like to take this time to thank my special guest, Benji, for being here. Appreciate it, brother.
Yeah,
Before we get out of here, though, while we did just wrap up all the games, we still have one game on Monday night. Let me scroll down here. Oh, hold on. We still have a game on Monday night. We have the Packers and Lions that are going at it. That's actually a nice divisional matchup. If this was Thanksgiving, I would probably go for the Lions in this situation, but I'm going to go for the Packers here, just because. Let's see. Who would you pick? I personally am probably going to go for the... Okay, here we go. I'm probably just going to go for Green Bay, go for the Packers, because it's at Green Bay, Monday night. Under the lights, usually Aaron Rodgers is going to shine, and Matt Stafford, I mean, he plays well on Thanksgiving, but other than that, he hadn't really done shit. So Green Bay seems like the easy one here. What do you think?
I mean, yeah, I pick Green Bay. I mean, to me, yeah, not only are they at home and under the lights, but I think for me, they're the dark horse Super Bowl contender that nobody's talking about right now.
I can see that. Certainly playing like it.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely, man. And with that, folks, I want to thank all of you for tuning in. This has been fun. This has been a crazy day in football. It's only going to get crazier because we're almost halfway through now. We have about 6 weeks down. And at this point, I think what we can look forward to in terms of future games is you're going to see a lot of teams really get exposed. They're either going to be exposed as contenders or pretenders because now a lot of teams are getting their bye weeks in now, but the schedule's going to be a lot more intense down the road. Of course, you have teams like the Patriots that have a cupcake schedule all the way through. Fuck the Patriots, by the way. By the way, I like people in Boston, but Patriots, I don't like them. Fuck them. But anyway.
Boston's a beautiful city.
Yeah, Boston's a wonderful place. It's just like the Patriots, fuck you all. But anyways, they have an easy schedule. Some other teams have a more difficult schedule. And you're going to see which teams are going to be able to grind it out and which teams are not because the injuries are going to pile up. People's jobs are going to be on the line. And quite frankly, with so much parity in the league, you don't really know who's going to run away with what. So I hope you all tune in. I hope you all are just as excited as we are. Once again, thank you all for tuning in. Have a great rest of your weekend. Enjoy the week. Make sure that you are tuning in not just for this, but tune in for the preview that I will be dropping later this week because, once again, folks, it's only going to get more insane from here. We got all the cupcake bullshit out the way the first 6 weeks, and now it's about to get crazy. Once again, I want to thank my guest, thank all of you, and have a good one. We are out of this bitch.